In part 1 and part 2 of this series, I said that definitions change and that words are defined by the hearer. But there is more than just information attached to a word. There is emotion. And today we will talk about how the words you use trigger emotional reactions.
Distinctions for Life, helping you get what you really want in life with small changes that make a big difference.
Welcome to Distinctions for Life, where I help you get what you really want in life with small changes that make a big difference. I'm your host, Ron Davis. To find out how I can do more for you, visit my website at distinctionsforlife.tv. Previously, I said that communication is about transferring an idea from your mind to the hearer's mind. The purpose of this transfer is to make a change in the hearer and to evoke action. Sometimes we will be moved to action just because of some dry fact. But mostly, action only comes from emotion. We need to feel something to actually act. I could even make the case that those dry facts cause you to feel something that gets you to act. Sometimes a concept itself evokes an emotion, but a lot of times it isn't what is said, but how it is said that causes that emotional reaction. Often that how it's said is about using a particular word. And this is because words have an emotional charge. Not sure that that is the best way to express this idea, but people don't just react to a word's meaning. They also feel something based on the word you used. In Robert Heinlein's Future History Stories, there was this science of language that turned words into math. And some statements, when analyzed, had no semantic content. They evaluated to 0. Other times, the semantic value of certain words caused riots. I think we can understand this from our experience. We have all heard a politician say something and thought, that has no meaning. Or my favorite expression is, what does that even mean? A great speaker picks just the right word to motivate, persuade, or destroy the listener. A bad speaker picks the exact wrong word, and we cringe because that word will cause the exact opposite reaction from the hearer. The modern term trigger is a more generalized idea of this. Trigger warnings are put on content because that content might cause people to have a negative emotional reaction based on some past trauma. I want to point out that this isn't a positive or a negative thing. Picking the right word can do good or evil in the world. It is the way that we are made, and we need to be aware of it. Which brings me to my first tip. What reaction do you want? I asked a fellow Toastmaster once during an evaluation after her speech, do you want to persuade or are you just ranting? You can ask yourself, do you want to riot or do you want a conversation that may change another person's viewpoint, beliefs, and actions? Then you need to think about the words you choose. Going back to racist. It is a highly charged word of identity to many white people. I don't want to be defined the way I define racist. I did an episode about identity and how powerful it is using examples from Babylon 5. You may want to check it out. It is undoubtedly a highly charged word for black people as well, and can cause reactions that may lead to action that another word might not. But on the other hand, racist is shocking. It makes you think about the problem, to react to it in a way that prejudice doesn't. In NLP, this is called a pattern interrupt. It may actually get someone who doesn't care to react and engage with you in a way that they wouldn't with a word with less of an emotional charge. Also, you might be talking to your own group. Using the term will energize and move them to action. This is what rants generally are. This is what talk radio and social networks are full of. When you are picking words, you want to be conscious of what reaction that you want. Second tip, remember, the hearers define the word and its emotional charge. In my last episode titled Words Are Defined by the Hearer, you need to believe that the hearer is going to define the meaning of the word. The same is true of the emotional content of a word. In a very real sense, the emotional content of a word is part of its meaning. This emotional reaction comes quickly and unconsciously. If someone uses a word wrong, in the sense that I don't agree with the meaning, my brain goes, what? I may even tilt my head as if I'm trying to hear the word better, and it engages my thought processes. But if you use a word with an emotional charge, I just feel it. as soon as I hear it. And for a lot of people, they don't notice these emotional reactions and think about them. They just have them. They may not even associate them with the word they just heard. All they know is that they are mad or sad or happy, and then they react out of that feeling. Hopefully the kind of people who watch DFL would notice when they are suddenly feeling something that they didn't feel before and look at the connection to the words just directed at them. As communicators, we need to watch the emotional reactions that our words evoke. Then we can change our behavior and the words to get the action and the reaction that we want. To recap this series, words are fluid. The hearer defines the meaning of the word. Words have an emotional trigger. These three beliefs are the lens that I communicate through. Are they right? Do they accurately define reality? I don't know, but they are useful. With them, I feel I am better able to communicate and make a change in the world for the better. Question of the day: what words have an emotional trigger for you? Leave a comment below. This concludes my series on words. I still don't have the solution to racism and prejudice, but I feel that if more people use these beliefs when communicating, we might be able to find it. Making change isn't easy, not in the world and not in ourselves. But DFL is here to help with the latter, which I believe will change the former. Thanks for watching today. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. This channel is all about helping you get what you really want in life with small changes that make a big difference. Till next time, I'm Ron Davis. In the previous episode, I said that it is undoubtedly a highly charged word for Black people as well, and can cause reactions that lead to action that other word. Ron, in your long sentences. They may not even associate. Man, what is wrong with my mouth? My mouth has stopped working.